Should I prioritize Roth 401k or Roth IRA? Aren't they the same thing? No, they're not the same thing at all. So Roth 401k would be your employer sponsored retirement account. Okay. Roth IRA is your individual retirement account. You don't have to be employed to open a Roth IRA, but you do need to have an income, earned income, to contribute to the Roth IRA. Roth 401k, or let's just call it 401k. 401k is tied to your employer. So any private sector employer, you would have a 401k. If you're working in a nonprofit organization, you're going to have a 403b. If you work for the federal government, you're going to have a TSP or thrift savings plan. And they all act the same as the 401k, with a little bit of tweaks here and there, but essentially they all follow the same IRS guideline. Okay. The fees are different though. If I had to choose any of those 401k, if I could, TSP by far is the cheapest when it comes to investing in their funds. They're all index funds and they don't charge a whole lot when it comes to investing in CSIGF funds. Just looking at CS&I funds, those are really, really cheap index funds to go with. And the management expenses are really low too. Roth IRA is even cheaper to me. I know you're asking about the, Roth IRA stuff. You can't go wrong with Vanguard, Schwab, or Fidelity. I talked about that in a separate video, but, personally, I'm investing with Schwab and I do have an account with Fidelity. I do have an account with Vanguard. As far as customer service goes, I would say, Schwab is probably the best and Fidelity is the second best. Vanguard is probably the worst when it comes to customer service, right? I prioritize Roth IRA for the simple reason. Roth IRA, you can take out your contributions at any time. Roth 401k, you cannot. So once you contribute into the Roth 401k, you have to keep your contributions in there. Roth IRA, you have more freedom to take the contributions out. Not that I'm recommending that you do that. I don't. I think you should keep your money where it is in the Roth IRA to let it grow, right? And the fees are much cheaper. There's no management expenses like the 401k does. So when it comes to IRA, even just going with Schwab, Fidelity, or Vanguard, or any, brokerage account, the fees are really low. And when you invest in a low cost index fund, I know Vanguard has the VOO that's like 0.03% in management expenses. If you go to, I think VTI is like 0.06%, right? And Schwab has some of the index funds that doesn't require you to have any minimum to invest. Vanguard S&P 500 index mutual fund requires you to have at least $3,000 to start. Schwab is zero, Fidelity is zero. And Fidelity has an index fund that's like no management expenses at all. I believe that's called FZROX. And this is not personalized financial advice. I'm just kind of showing you how to find it. So what do you think is better? Investing $500 a month, making 10% return, or investing $1,000 a month, making a 7% return on investment? You can't figure out how much you can invest without a budget. There's no way around it. I personally tested out the budgeting app called YNAB, and it's not just an app that can track your income and expenses, but it can even help you create a plan to pay down your student loans, car loans, personal loans, or credit cards a lot faster. So if you're ready to change your life by getting out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, you can get a free trial without any credit card information by using a link in the description below. Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund. So this is a equivalent to VTI or VTSAC. So when you do the research, you can look at it here and oh wow, yeah, look at that. Expense ratio is 0% and expense ratio is 0%. What that means is that you pay nothing to invest. This is all your returns. This is what you get. And there's no minimum to invest, $0. And then NAV is net asset value. It means that it's $19.33 per share. But that doesn't matter because it's all fractional shares when it comes to mutual fund investing anyway. So when you do the research and take a look at this Roth IRA, and then you like Fidelity and then you want to invest in this, it probably makes more sense to invest in Fidelity instead of investing like a Schwab index fund in the Fidelity. That would be kind of weird, right? They might charge you fees too if you did that, and they're going to raise their eyebrow at you for doing that too. They're essentially the same thing. If you look at the top 10 holdings, so you can look, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Eli Lilly, Broadcom, and all that. So take a look. You can always look at the performances. Yeah, 23% return in 1 year, 8% in 3 years, every year for the past 3 years, that type of thing. But Roth IRA is what I prioritize when it comes between Roth IRA and Roth 401k. I prioritize employer match first. So if you get an employer match with a 401k, let's say you need to contribute 5% to get that 5% contribution from your employer, start with that 5% with the 401k first. The next step will be the Roth IRA. max out your Roth IRA every single year. And then once you're done with maxing out your Roth IRA, then go back to your 401k and see if you can increase that to 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, or maybe go up to the IRS limit, right? So the other difference is that 401k withdrawal rules is going to be a little bit different from the Roth IRA. And I talked about that in a separate video, but just check it out when you get a chance. A really good question though. I do prioritize Roth IRA over 401k, with the exception of the employer match if that's offered.